I hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Welcome to another edition of Talking Busch podcast. I am your intern host, John Thompson. Well, riding alongside me tonight is none other than Derek Hartman and Matt Train. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Doing well, buddy. Doing well. Good.
We are getting so much snow, I am not even offended by Kirk Cousins' comments anymore.
Oh, so you were the one that was offended to begin with.
No, I wasn't. I thought it was absolutely ludicrous that people were offended by it.
It's Miami,
man. Go back to Miami.
Yeah. let's not sit here and pretend like our weather is like fun.
No, it's not. I would much rather be in Miami. That doesn't mean I want to go play for the Miami Dolphins. It just means I love Miami.
Yeah.
Plus, have you seen all the hot ass that runs around in Miami? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been, but I heard good things.
I was just on South Beach 2 weeks ago.
Woo! Oh, good for you.
It was good for me.
Go on.
The view is not bad, but it's not my scene.
Oh, that's because you're married and you have a child.
For you, Matt?
What's that?
The thong bikini's not for you?
No, that part's fine. The rest of it, the clubs with that $10,000 bottle service and all that shit is.
Wearing the thong bikinis is more for Matt.
Well, you know.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, little Cuban lady walks up and, you know, gives me a little pat and tickle. Oh, no, back in the day, I wouldn't have said no. Well, guys, it's been a long time since we've been together. Unfortunately, Dave Pikus is not with us tonight because he's got better things to do, like throw a bowling ball down a lane with a bunch of ladies who are married. So good job, Dave. Smart choice. But we have a lot of stuff to get to. This is going to be, I'm going to call it one of our best episodes ever. And I'm going to give a couple of teasers here. We're going to, since we haven't been on air for 3 weeks, 4, it's been a long time. You know, we're gonna just give our thoughts on the Super Bowl quick. Couple of thoughts on commercials. Go over how we all felt about Maroon 5. We've got a super awesome Busch Light or Busch League. I've got tons of things to talk about there. And then I also have an interesting little tidbit on you ever heard of the band Imagine Dragons? Matt?
I've heard of them.
You've heard of them, right?
Indeed.
I need to get your guys' thoughts because I saw something and I thought this is really interesting because Imagine Dragons is lovable. They're good. I think they're okay. Are you guys familiar with the band Slipknot?
Yes.
Heard of them?
Yep.
Yeah. No. Never.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, their lead singer Corey Taylor, he's also in a band called Stone Sour. He came out and said that Imagine Dragons is going to be the new Nickelback of rock and roll. And it's basically because I think he got dissed by Imagine Dragons or something. I didn't read the whole article because I have ADD and I can't pay attention that much. But what do you guys think? Do you think Imagine Dragons is going to get to the fact where they are going to be the new Nickelback, which is the quote unquote jackass of rock and roll or music in general?
My thoughts are they not already there?
Yeah,
What song do you hear constantly when ESPN's trying to hype up a game? Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
It's like they make music just for that purpose.
True.
I can definitely see the comparisons and the overplayedness will get them there also. You know, but it ain't the worst place in the world to be Nickelback. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Nickelback's doing just fine. So yeah. Is there a comparison? But it's just okay. So could you also say they're the next Coldplay?
True.
The same damn thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just they're immensely popular in the commercial world.
Well, I'm going to say this. When Thunder comes on, you know where I'm at. I'm on the dance floor because that song kicks ass.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I don't know. I can't think.
First time I ever saw him was at Roy Wilkins Auditorium with like 1,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
And that place was freaking rocking.
Oh, good for you.
This is before they were big. But,
Yeah.
But that place was rocking when they played Radioactive. It was
Sure.
badass. It was
Radioactive is good too. And that's the same thing with Nickelback. Like they got a couple of bangers,
awesome.
but I really wish I could get down to the origin of how they got deemed like the most overrated band ever.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of funny.
I don't know, but if Nickelback drops Animals, I'm gonna sing along with them. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same. Creed, Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same.
One thing I forgot to tease too that we're gonna get to probably a little bit before Busch Light is tonight is Duke versus Carolina. Depending on what sport you like, considered the greatest rivalry in sports next to Michigan, Ohio State, New York, Boston. We're gonna play a little game called your Duke UNC top starting 5 of all time, and I'm gonna give you some names and some dollar amounts and a cap, and you're gonna tell me who you would want on that team. Okay, that's gonna be a little later. So, but let's kick it off. We've kind of kicked it off with Imagine Dragons. Let's roll into the Super Bowl. Obviously, we all know the Patriots won. It was boring, but I had no problem with it. What were your guys' thoughts with the game?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first half outside of a Miami airport. Just so happened to stumble into
Oh, good for you.
It was fun. It's still the Super Bowl, even if they didn't score. I'm okay with defense. That being said, the Rams just didn't play well.
Right.
They didn't adjust. They didn't do anything.
Jared Goff didn't play well.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
What you think?
I've been sitting on that all night.
All right. Do I still get to talk? Or
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had the same opinion that everybody did, that it was kind of a snooze fest. The problem with the Super Bowl every year is that because of everything that goes on around it, it just can't be a regular high-quality football game.
Right.
So rarely is it ever that.
Last year was incredibly unique.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I didn't mind it. What did you to elaborate on that, Matt?
Yeah, I would agree with you. Looking back on it now, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it or anything like that. It was kind of boring to watch at times, but it's a cool story with the GOAT getting another one, and
yep,
yeah, it's all good, I think.
Derek, are you embracing this like I am? At first I was a little sick of the Patriots dynasty, but now that we're seeing this in a Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, Chicago Bulls style dynasty, 49ers dynasty, Packers dynasty, is this something that you're starting to embrace a little bit more?
No Packers dynasty, but
okay, true.
John, why do you play the game? I mean, why do you play sports?
You play to win the game.
That's true.
The greatest thing about sports. To find somebody that can consistently just be the best.
Yeah.
Half the Super Bowls that have been played since he started, he's been in.
I know. Just think, he's literally 3 fluke plays away from winning 3 more think about this. First Giants Super Bowl, David Tyree catches a freaking football stuck to the top of his head. Yeah. Second one, Eli gets no, that was the same one. Second one, Wes Welker drops a wide open pass that puts them in field goal range, and they could have probably easily walked down and scored, for sure got a field goal, and I think maybe tied it up. And then last year, he gets I think it was Tommy Jerg? It wasn't Fletcher Cox that got him, but it was a strip sack, and it fumbled, and it cost him the game. So he's literally 3 plays away from never losing a Super Bowl.
And oh, by the way, last year he threw for like 550 yards.
I know. It's just incredible.
Arguably the greatest Super Bowl performance ever. Just so happened it was a loss.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of cool on NFL Network. They replayed the last 3 Super Bowls, and they were in all. Obviously, they're in all 3 of them. It's just fun to just watch him dissect the Falcons.
The Falcons one was so fun. Yeah.
Oh, and then even last year, I mean, I know they were behind, and a lot of that just had to do with Philadelphia was just better that day, but he kept them in the game. I mean, they were just right there every time. I forgot that Gostkowski had a really bad field goal where the ball almost was fumbled, and he just basically took a blind swing at it, and it went off the crossbar or the upright. So,
to me, it's just, I mean, especially in a league of parity, their ability to always show up like they're supposed to. I mean, you want to talk about problems we have with the Vikings, and in the big game, the defense never shows up.
Right.
It's like, I mean, and granted, you know, I'm sure people in Boston would make the argument that their defense didn't show up last year against
Philly.
Against Philly and that.
I hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Damn you, Derek.
but to consistently be able to come out there and never ever lay an egg, especially against good teams, you know what I mean? It's like they're never off ever when it's crazy.
And they just keep rolling in players and doing the same thing.
Exactly. You see how many times this doesn't take very much for shit to not work out for them,
right?
For people, and it just always seems to work out for them. It's just crazy.
Derek, final thoughts on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, how often do the Patriots start, 0-2 or 1-3 or 2-2, and by the time the season's over, when it's all said and done, they're the best team in football, and that comes down to coaching and quarterback play.
Yep,
and they got the best.
I agree. We're gonna do a hot take here, quick. Favorite Super Bowl commercial, Derek, go.
I liked the Jason Bateman elevator one. I believe it was a car commercial.
Woo! Matt?
Man, I honestly, 3 weeks later, I can't. None of them made enough impression on me to remember today.
The NFL one was good.
That was my favorite. I'm a little mad that they had 0 Vikings. Like, not even John. Like, John Randall should have actually been a part of that pileup. That would have been freaking hilarious. Like, him and his Batman face paint piling on that with Sue and everybody. I thought that would have been awesome. But that was my favorite commercial. So there was some controversy at the halftime show. Maroon 5 performed. Matt, what did you see of that? What did you think of that?
I thought it was fine. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like
let me ask you this. Were you bothered that Maroon 5 was going to play the Super Bowl?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Derek, how about you?
In my opinion, that sucked.
I don't know. I don't love Maroon 5. I wanted more support from the Atlanta rap community.
See, I had a guy at work. We were talking. We were like, well, I know Big Boy was there, but how awesome would that have been if Andre 3000 showed up and they would have did like Roses or something?
You should rewind like 3 podcasts ago and listen to my take, which is exactly that.
That's exactly what you said. Yep. That would be awesome. Here's the take. I'm going to steal Chris Hockey's take on Twitter. They played their instruments, so it was live. It was real. You don't get that very much anymore. Everybody's using auto-tune and lip syncing, and so it was really refreshing to see them play their instruments. Adam Levine did not have to go Sons of Anarchy on me, take his shirt off and reveal his prison yard tattoos all over the place. That I could have went without.
I'd agree with that. Although the people who are bitching about that in comparison to Janet Jackson are totally clueless.
Do you remember where you were at? I remember where I was at when that happened. I think you were with me.
I was at
Matthew.
Adams.
Yep, we were there.
Yeah.
We were at Adam Hartman's basement, Derek, in Wilmer, and we were all sitting around his basement, and JT tore the titty cover off. And I can't remember if I looked at Matt or Adam or Trevor or whoever, and I was just like, did you see that?
Yeah.
and then it went to commercial.
It was a little bit of shock and a little bit of, was that what I think it was?
Yeah. Because I was so confused because I'd never seen a nipple ring like that before. So I was just like, what the hell was that? Like, interesting. Moving on. This segment's brought to you by Dr. Derek Hartman. His motto is crank 'em, yank 'em, and pack 'em. If you need any teeth work done, he'll gladly crank it, yank it out of your mouth, and pack it full of gauze for you. So, Derek, what's the name of your place?
Como Park Dentistry.
And where's that located?
1132 Larpenter Avenue West.
And what time are you open?
8 to 5, Monday through Thursday.
And what's a phone number that we could get a hold of you at to make an appointment?
651-489-0641.
I have something controversial for you guys, and I wish we would have podcasted sooner because it's kind of making its way around the league, and my take is kind of old news now. You guys are aware that Antonio Brown is no longer going to be a Steeler, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What would you guys think of, A, the Vikings trading for him? I'm going to start with Derek first.
That's terrible.
And then B, would you give up Minnesota's golden child to get him? Derek?
I personally want nothing to do with Antonio Brown.
Why?
I think he wrecked the Steelers' season. The Le'Veon Bell stuff didn't help, but their running game was fine.
Yeah.
He's crazy, man. Have you been paying attention and watching? I want nothing to do with him. There's no way I would give up anything of value.
Did
to
you
give him a big contract?
Did you see him hanging out with Karl Anthony Towns, and he put a picture of himself on Twitter in a Timberwolves jersey?
I did. 84.
And he was in Minneapolis for some reason because Xavier Rhodes tweeted that he was in Minneapolis.
Don't do it, Rick. Spend that $20 million a year on a fucking offensive lineman. Matt,
what's your take on it?
Given some of the dysfunction the dysfunction with Antonio Brown was not the only dysfunction in Pittsburgh this year.
Right.
And I think for me, I'm willing to give him a little bit. Now he could act much less jackassian,
right?
But it doesn't necessarily mean he's wrong,
right?
In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And is he, a freaking diva circus? Yes. Do I want the best receiver in the NFL on my team if I had the chance? Yes. But no, I would not trade Adam Thielen just because I refuse to trade. I would never trade Adam Thielen.
See, that's where I was getting, because I know that the Steelers need something in return, right? They're not going to necessarily give him away. Mm-hmm. You're not going to trade Diggs because you just gave him that monster contract. And I don't know if you guys heard Thielen's agent on the radio the other day. I mean, he's being very civil about it, but he obviously, the Vikings know this too. He wants more money for obvious reasons. And that's, I mean, if you were, it would have to be something of the lines of Clinton Portis for Champ Bailey kind of deal. Like, you got to give a star for a star if the draft pick.
If we can't afford Adam Thielen to pay him more money, how are we going to spend $25 million a year on Brown or $20 million or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Thielen's cap number is like $4 million.
Yeah,
it doesn't add up. The numbers
I know.
aren't there.
That's true.
I know.
And you start talking about strategically taking assets away that could be used to bolster the offensive line. I'm not in favor of that either. But
yeah,
I'm just not quite as ready to say, God, this guy's a piece of shit. I'd never want him on my team no matter what. I wouldn't say that.
No, I wouldn't either, because we've dealt with Randy Moss. We had
big
Chris
star
Carter.
wide receiver, like every big star wide receiver.
Yep. I mean, and to put a teaser out there, OBJ was in talks to go to the Patriots, and then the Giants got cold feet.
The Patriots can turn any diva into a walk
just
line,
as
great shooter.
they don't say a word while they're there.
Well, until they do, and then they get cut the next damn week or whatever.
You know,
See you later.
Have you ever noticed that Gronk is literally the only one that can say anything and not get in trouble?
That's
like,
true.
He gets away with murder. Well, ha! Aaron Hernandez, boom.
Woo!
Didn't even try to do that, but yeah. I don't know. I'd be for it, and I'm not saying I don't like Thielen, but I mean, if you had the best wide receiver in the NFL, and what if all of a sudden they did something and traded Xavier Rhodes for AB, and then we have Thielen, Rhodes, and Diggs? Let's go, huh? I mean,
is Kirk going to have any time to throw to any of those guys?
Derek, they will address that in free agency in the draft. Just hold your pants on.
Not going to have any money if they trade for Brown.
Well, they're gonna have to cut some people, obviously. We'll when the draft gets closer. Next week is the combine. We'll talk a lot about that and because I'm gonna watch all 84 hours of it. I'll have notes and stats on everybody. So
Oh, good for you.
damn right. Why is this doing this? Shut up. Okay. Before I move on to the next thing, because Derek has been chomping at the bit to talk about this. What beer are you guys drinking tonight?
I personally have a cryptocurrency from Barrel Theory.
I have a Sir Mocha Stout from Exile in Des Moines, Iowa.
You know, they brew 10,000 bottles of beer a day. I drink 45 off the assembly line, and I'm the asshole.
Yeah, that's true. I am. That's a typical night at work for me, except for it's more like 2 or 3.
I battled a little bout of the stomach flu, so I'm drinking soda water right now.
Ah, good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Stomach's still a little iffy, so.
Yeah, I don't want to challenge that. Don't want to poop your pants while we're on the air.
Definitely not.
That would be nasty, and I don't want to see that or smell
I
it.
don't like you guys enough. I would just get the hell out of here. I mean,
it'd be funny because you'd I don't know, because it might be an emergency, and you'd turn around to run away, and you'd see the shit streak down your back. That would be funny. That would be awesome.
The clinch run.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I think you should just fake it just for entertainment purposes. Well, the reason I bring up that Derek has been chomping at the bit is because he actually texted me regarding this, and I'm going to start with Matt first, even though I know Matt is very disconnected. He basically lives off the grid, but we'll see if he can chime in at all. So recently, Ohio State had a transfer from Georgia who backed up Jacob Fromm. His name is Justin Fields, and he was recently ruled completely eligible for the whole entire season next year, even though he's a transfer, not a grad transfer, a straight up transfer. Matt, do you think Justin Fields should have to sit out the mandatory? I'm not even sure what the games are. Should he have to sit out, or is it because Ohio State is Ohio State and the college football gods want ratings that he's able to play?
Did they give any explanation as to why he was not being subjected to the same rules as anybody else?
Nope.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's clearly bullshit. I mean,
it's Ohio State. That's what it is. And I can't wait to hear what the guy next to you has to say, because I think he's been stirring on this for about 3 weeks. Go.
Let me just ask one question. If he was transferring to the University of Iowa, would he be eligible this season?
Absolutely not.
There's zero fucking chance. Minnesota, no.
None.
But let's see, Alabama? Sure. Ohio State? Absolutely.
Clemson?
Yeah. We need him.
Even someone as big as Auburn or A&M, I think would.
Sure. Yep.
Florida State.
But college football is a fucking hypocrisy.
Yeah.
They're making a fucking joke out of it. The Minnesota Gophers got a transfer point guard this season who would be really helpful. He transferred because his coach left, and the new coach had no plans for him. Seems fair that he should get to leave and play right away, in theory. He got denied. Justin Fields has no reason to be accepted to play immediately. There's none, except for Ohio State needs a quarterback.
Right.
That's it.
Why the University of Minnesota? Why not?
The rich
I
get
love
richer, man. It's that way in everything. That's literally the world that we live in, man. I mean, be it any be it the NFL or the NCAA or Christ, U.S. politics, doesn't matter. Rich people grease the wheels for grease the wheels for people to get in there, and they scratch people's back on the other side. It's the way of the world. Way of the world today.
I have nothing on it. I think it's bullshit. I'm just with Matt. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Speaking of college football, did you see the Nebraska running back that literally played all season?
No.
Despite having the cops wanting to interview him for I think
The revenge porn thing?
Revenge porn, yeah, revenge porn. The cops could not interview him because Nebraska wouldn't let them.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow. Talk about cover-ups.
Think that would be a little different at the University of Minnesota?
Oh,
Think it
my
probably would,
God. That is ridiculous. I didn't know that they wouldn't let him do that.
Yeah, the athletic administration shut down the investigation. How does that happen?
It's Lincoln, Nebraska, man.
Yeah.
If you go to that university, you're basically untouchable.
Yep. Go Big Red.
Kind of sick. Oh, well, I have a new segment I want to introduce you guys to a couple of stories I want your thoughts on. It's called News That Really Matters, or something of that nature. And it's
working title.
Yeah, it's a working title. We'll take suggestions on the AT&T, or we don't have AT&T. We'll call it the Dr. Derek Hartman inbox. He's our only
inbox.
He is our only sponsor, so that's who we're gonna go with. The first one is, Matt, you were in sales or some sort of sales merchandiser at your place of employment.
Yeah.
What would you do if a gal came in trying to sell you the latest and greatest in seed or whatever, and she decided to give you a little lap dance? What would you do?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Well, I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to answer that, but I mean,
Well,
I suppose I deserve to let anybody state their case before I make a decision. So.
all right. I mean, you got to get a little sugar on the old toast a little bit. Well, it turns out that Holly Brown, a former sales representative at Insys Therapeutics, said in federal court on Tuesday that her then boss, Sunrise Lee, had been rewarding the Illinois doctor identified. So Sunny Lee had been rewarding the Illinois doctor, who is apparently Holly Brown, or I'm sorry, Paul Madison was the doctor. So Sunrise Lee is rewarding Dr. Madison. He was apparently receiving lap dances for prescribing the powerful product of fentanyl to Sunrise Lee, and paying him to speak at events. So she was rewarding him nicely for dishing out the old fentanyl patches.
Yes, my favorite. I love the stories of the doctor drug dealers.
Yeah.
Especially when they're not. What is fentanyl? I mean, fentanyl must be more expensive than a lap dance at the strip club.
It has to be. I mean,
fentanyl is a medication to basically knock you out. They use it when they put people to sleep.
Well, I know, but it's.
I mean, if she's just handing out lap dances and I'm assuming handies are a part of this.
More expensive than heroin. Better than heroin.
Ooh, now you're talking. I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs, kids.
So if to answer your question, if I was that guy, I would say that's a lowball offer. So no, I'm not willing to sell at that price
for just a straight up lap dance.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I got kind of a sad story, but it's more of a story of doing what you love. Derek, you've traveled abroad. You've been places. you've done quite a bit in your short life. If your time were to come, would you want to be doing what you loved?
Absolutely.
Well, unfortunately for this gentleman, he was in the middle of doing what he loved and had a heart attack and passed away. It was reported a while back that an Italian playboy who apparently had slept with approximately 6,000 women died while making whoopee in the back of a car. He was 63. His name was Maurizio Sanfante. He was dubbed the Romeo of Rimini. Claimed to have slept with more than 6,000 women after becoming famous as a nightclub promoter in the beachside city in the 70s. He was entertaining a tourist from Romania in the back of a car when he suffered a heart attack. The then shocked woman called paramedics, but Sanfante could not be revived. Local media said it was the same. It was the way the man once called it Italy's most successful lover would have wanted to go. Zanza died after doing what he did best, loving women.
Wow.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at pictures of him, and he's not terrible looking. I mean, I'm sure back in the 70s he was probably very attractive. But I
was picturing
Fabio?
No, not Fabio. I went way the other way. What's the porn star in Boondock Saints? The Italian mob boss in Boondock Saints. That's a porn star in real life that gets shot by.
Oh yeah. It's I would say just Google his name, it'll pop up. You should see some of the fucking dimes that he's standing with. My God.
Well, I didn't get to 6,000 by now learning something, I'm sure.
The old Angry Inch would be happy to at least land one of those bad boys. Jeez Louise. What a lucky guy. Yeah, if you're gonna it would be weird to be the gal that had to, push him off and grody, sick. Moving on. Derek, no, nothing, no reaction. Hey, who's that hot lady in the background? What's up?
Lisa says hi.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
No, I mean, if you're gonna go, that'd be a nice way to go.
Yep.
I know, right? It would be freaking. I mean, yeah, it's creepy, but yet awesome. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, you can die in a house fire or drowned, or you can die having sex.
Absolutely, that's the way to go. You guys want to play a game? Would you like to play a game? That would be a sweet soundbite. Derek, put that on the list. Would you like to play a game? I think I teased it earlier.
You play to win the game.
Am I going to need a pen? Do I have to do math?
No, actually, I'm going to tease. We're going to play two games. One's pretty simple. And this one Matt will be able to relate to because I know how cut off from the world he can be sometimes. But you should be able to play along for this one.
All right.
Matt, you ready? I saw this on ESPN. And I think it's like the best. You know how everybody tries to get like the greatest of all time in their prime to play something or another to see who the greatest is.
Michael Jordan versus LeBron.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is pretty awesome because it was for NBA All-Star Weekend, and I would actually pay real money to see this. It's a dream 3-point contest. You guys got to pick who you got, who you'd put money. If you were in Vegas, who you would put money on. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a matchup for us?
It's not matchups. It's just everybody just goes and bracket. Pick your guy. Bracket style play. Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller.
Yeah, those are my top two, and then Steph.
Larry Bird, Kyle Korver, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Dirk Nowitzki, Peja Stojakovic, Klay Thompson, and Steve Nash. Matt, who you got?
I'm picking one.
You got to pick one. You can pick a runner-up, too.
I'm taking Larry Legend. And then, probably Steph.
Probably Steph.
Yep.
That's solid. Derek, are you going to stick with the first two?
No, I mean
Ooh.
those two and Steph Curry are my top three.
Sure. Matt, did you have a third one that you wanted that you would have picked too, or?
No, I mean it probably would be either Ray Allen or Reggie Miller. So
right,
Reggie Miller against the Knicks in that series. I mean, unbelievable.
8 points in 5 seconds or something?
Yeah,
sick.
Those I wish the NBA would have a vintage 3-point contest. Let these guys, come up in their street clothes and shoot the ball because they could still.
Right. Oh, Ray Allen dropped 20-some points in that freaking celebrity game. Like I know he's just playing. It was pickup ball, but still, man, the guy can still shoot. I'm sure Reggie can still shoot.
These guys could still light it up. It'd be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'd probably actually tune.
Well, I'm kind of torn because I always think of Larry Bird in that 3-point contest where he had 20. It was basically 3 perfect racks in a row, and he had 25 points.
Is there anything better than 3 perfect racks right in a row?
Derek. Woo! There's nothing better than 3 racks right in a row.
4 racks.
4 racks would be better. 5 racks. That would be amazing.
Come get a taste.
I actually think for some reason I want to go against the grain and I want to pick Peja Stojakovic because back in the day that guy could shoot a 3-pointer with the best of them.
Yeah.
I'd be curious what his stats are. I don't really know. But
yeah.
I remember Peja being absolutely lights out when he had an open 3, like Ray, like Reggie, like
Steph. Yeah. I just remember playing in a video game, and obviously Reggie and Ray were in it, and you knew they were. But Peja's 3-point stats were just as good in video games as them, so he would always be a bargain 3-point shooter that you could use.
If you're playing NBA Jam, are you picking the Kings to have Peja? No.
Who am I picking? White Chocolate and Chris Webber?
You'd want Detlef Shrimp and Reggie Miller. Come on.
Detlef. Or I'd want Ray Allen and Glenn Robinson, the big dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Steve Kerr not getting any love. He was pretty lights out. I mean, I wouldn't pick him over those other guys, but I mean, he was a pretty good 3-point shooter.
Yeah, that was the thing about some of the names on your list. Kerr, Kyle Korver. They need somebody to feed them open threes.
Right. Which is why they might be good for this game because someone would just be kicking them the ball the whole time. So this isn't in a game scenario. This is just playing to 30. So
I'll also add that the reason I picked Larry Bird is because his ability to just be smooth. You feel like that guy he just sits in the gym and can pull up trick shots wherever he wants.
Right.
Granted, all those other guys, great 3-point shooters, but Dirk Nowitzki had the benefit of being 7 foot tall.
Right.
And Ray Allen and Reggie Miller and Steph all have these ultra quick releases that allows them to get threes off like nobody's business. Now, that doesn't mean they're any worse a 3-point shooter, but it also adds a little bit to their lore, the fact that they have a bit of an advantage in getting threes off in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like Larry Bird is the best pure shooter out of the group.
Yeah. They're all good. It would be fun to watch. That's all I got to say. All right. I got another game for you, and we'll try to move this quickly because I really want to get into top Busch Light or Busch League. So UNC and Duke are playing right now as we speak. I don't have a score update, but ESPN also released you have $15, and you have to pick a starting 5 out of both UNC and Duke greats.
20-9, UNC up.
What? Wow.
It's a game of runs.
That's true.
Yep.
So here's your choices. I don't know if you guys have pen and paper. Matt, if you need me to help you, let me know.
Yeah.
I think Derek's got a pen and paper. So, all right. So we're going to start $5 is going to go from highest to lowest. So your $5 guys, which I think one of these options is ridiculous because he's only a freshman, but I'll let you guys decide. So your $5 options are Zion Williamson, Michael Jordan, and Christian Laettner. Your $4 options are J.J. Redick, Tyler Hansborough, Shane Battier. Your $3 option is Vince Carter, Jerry Stackhouse, and Jay Williams. $2, Grant Hill, Kyrie Irving, Grayson Allen. And your $1 is Rasheed Wallace, James Worthy, and Jason Tatum. Derek, who you got?
Read them off one more time. Read them off one more time.
From where? All of them?
Yeah, just from the
Are
top.
we just picking one of each?
No, you can only pick
No, you just got to make it up to 15 or under. So you could pick Williamson and Jordan and then go from there. So you got Zion, MJ, Laettner, Redick, Hansborough, Battier, Vince Carter, Stackhouse, Jay Williams, Grant Hill, Kyrie, Grayson Allen, Todd Salad, James Worthy, Sheed, and Jason Tatum. So for example, I honestly would go Jordan.
We're picking a starting 5.
Yep, this is yours, and you can mix. You can mix Duke with NC. So like me, I would go Jordan, Carter. I'm up to 8. Worthy, probably Jay Williams at point guard, and then Sheed at center. And I'm under 15. It's got MJ and Vince Carter on it. Nobody's stopping that. Or Kyrie at 2. Actually, that was what I would do. Mine would be Kyrie, Worthy, Sheed, Carter, Jordan.
Who are your $2 options?
Grant Hill, Kyrie, Grayson Allen. I'm not picking that Todd. That douche.
Okay, I got my lineup.
Who you got?
My point guard is Jay Williams. He's probably the best college point guard that we've ever seen. If he didn't wreck his knee in a motorcycle accident, he would have been a superstar in the pros.
Right.
Shooting guard is MJ, obviously.
Yep.
Small forward, I got Grant Hill.
Ooh, yeah, he was solid.
I think Grant Hill was a stud. I got Tyler Hansborough as my hustle guy.
Yes, I loved Hansborough.
He's gonna clean up the boards, and he's gonna just dish it. And I got Sheed playing center because we're going modern day NBA, and he's gonna knock him down from 3.
Right. I love it. I actually was really shocked that Worthy was only $1.
Yeah.
He was awesome at UNC. He was the star.
The crazy part about it is you could play this game with just Duke or just North Carolina players and have just as many superstars.
Yes, absolutely. And you want to take Redick because he's just a 3-point sniper, but he's a shooting guard. And why would you take him over MJ? You wouldn't.
I didn't have enough money to have him. So you gotta play a little bit.
I mean,
I play a little bit.
I mean, you could easily just do Jordan and Laettner and then fill it in from there. You could go Jordan, Laettner, Jay Williams. You're at 13, and then fill it with Sheed and Worthy.
Solid players,
yeah, and you're getting James Worthy for $1. James Worthy, that is so mind blowing. That's no offense to Zion, but he's a freshman. He hasn't proven anything, and he's $5. He should be like 3. Battier.
Right.
Battier or Jay Williams deserves to be 4 or 5.
Player of the year.
Yeah, him too. Yeah.
Who you got, Train?
Oh, he's really thinking about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really understand it very much, to be totally honest. I don't know who Zion Williams is.
Oh my God, Matt. Are you freaking kidding me?
I'm not.
Are you high or just incredibly stupid?
Also, Also, Grant Hill for $2 seems like a steal for me.
Yeah.
Guy was a freaking triple double machine in the NBA. Assume he wasn't hurt constantly, right? I mean, that's what we're
his Piston days, absolutely. Grant Hill was awesome.
And Redick is a four. I know Redick's a nice player; he's a great shooter and stuff. But I don't at all understand the idea that I guess Redick was a better college player, but
right.
I mean, Hill was on the national championship team. I just don't understand it. Anyways,
just pick the 5 guys you like the best.
All right. I'm going Kyrie, Hill, MJ, Worthy, Wallace. And it's not even close to $15, so I'm probably stupid. But
no, that mine was under budget too.
Mine is 10.
15.
Yeah,
mine's 11.
No, that works.
They definitely gave you a discount for being older and remembering how good players were in the early
yeah, man. Like, I even remember when Stackhouse played. Like,
how was Shane Battier? Was Shane Battier that good?
He was the National Player of the Year.
Oh, dude, Shane Battier was awesome.
He was a defensive stopper and scored like 20 a game.
You know, the thing is about Duke and both UNC, they didn't put Elton Brand in there. They didn't put.
That was the one name I was like, okay, really? Elton Brand's not on here.
They didn't put Boozer in there. They didn't put Dang in there for UNC with their national titles. They didn't put like Raymond Felton. They didn't put Sean May.
How about Rashad
he left a sour taste in our mouths, so we don't speak of him anymore. You guys ready? No, go ahead, Derek.
I mean, like I said, there's so many more names you could have put on that list. Just both those teams, you could play that game with either one of those teams and still probably have just as good a team.
Right. Do you think if you put an all Duke and all UNC team against each other and just because Michael Jordan's on it, that UNC would just automatically win? Just because Michael Jordan's on the team.
The state of North Carolina might just like break in half.
That's a tough question because if like everybody just assumes when you have the GOAT on your team, you're just destined to win. But those Duke players in their prime were freaking awesome.
It's hard to take. It's like who should win the All-Star game? I mean, it's hard to unless one side is just so obviously better than the other. I mean, has the top 5 guys in the league or whatever.
Right.
It's hard to compare that sort of thing, you know.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
You guys ever going to go to a Duke North Carolina game?
Not with the way the tickets are. Did you see how much they were costing?
$2,500. That's the Zion effect, though.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah. This rivalry right now is ridiculous. I don't think they've ever been that expensive.
Last year they were about $500, and at $500, it's on my bucket list. At $2,500, I mean,
yeah. I would say I would like to see that one time. That is actually the rivalry game I would most want to see because I'm neutral, and it would be so much fun. Would you want to
at Duke?
I was going to say, are you going to Cameron or are you going to Dean Smith Center?
Nope, we're going to Cameron.
Nice. You guys want to play Busch or Busch League?
Busch Light or Busch League, sure.
Yeah, Busch or Busch Light, Busch League
for this.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. Just, God, you're so impatient. It's time for
Busch Light
or
Busch League.
So we have some really fun topics tonight. First one is just a random pop culture question. Doesn't need much elaboration, but I just want to know your guys' thoughts. So you guys are familiar with the Ghostbusters franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the women's version came out a couple years ago. It wasn't bad, but in my opinion, the originals were better.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Now they're rebooting the franchise again because apparently they just didn't get what they wanted out of the female cast. Derek, what are your thoughts about the new reboot of the Ghostbusters franchise?
Not thrilled about it, but Hollywood will do anything to make a buck. I mean, they were talking about rebooting Harry Potter. Like, it just finished.
Yeah.
It's a money grab. I bet it'll be terrible.
Nothing's going to be as good as Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd.
No.
Matt, what do you think? You actually do watch movies, so I know you can relate to this.
Yeah, I'm about done with the remake of everything, and every single goddamn series has got to be a trilogy. And you know, it happens in TV too. It's like they start off with something really good, and then they just squeeze it dry. And
All right.
Great cash, homie.
I understand that, you know, it's a business and everyone's trying to make money, but I wish there was a little bit more artistic integrity that would be considered in the fact that, holy crap, Hangover 1 was great. We definitely need to make 2 and 3 now because people will pay for it.
Right.
Even though we know it'll never be as good. I don't think that if you ask any of those guys, I would be shocked if anybody in that whole deal told you that, yep, Hangover 2 is going to be better than the first one.
Well, especially when they read the script and realized it was the exact same fucking movie.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Just different country.
Yeah, I'm done with the remakes. I'm not.
Jeez, you were really worked up with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this about the movies. I am over the remakes as well, especially in TV shows because they're remaking all the 80s ones. I am on board with the DC universe, Marvel universe, the comic book craze that's going on right now, and also the biopic craze that is happening. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to that, but obviously Bohemian Rhapsody has been a huge success.
Yeah.
There's an Elton John one coming out. Netflix is releasing a Motley Crue one, which I am extremely excited for because I read their book, and you got to wonder how all 4 of those guys are still alive. Just the shit that they did. It's unbelievable. If you haven't read it, it's called The Dirt. Read it. You're going to go, how are these 4 guys alive? It's just amazing. And then today it was announced that Chris Hemsworth is going to play Hulk Hogan in a biopic.
Nice.
So the biopic phase. I want to rip my shirt off right now and go running around and big booting and leg dropping everything in sight.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I like the biopics. I thought Bohemian Rhapsody was very entertaining. Although I read over and over again that the story is basically fictional.
Yeah, they pulled some stuff. Yeah.
So
the
that's a little
songs
bit
weren't in
disappointing.
like the right years. It was just
the years were off, but you know what? It's fine. It's all based. Keywords. People forget about that. Based on a true story. It's not the true story. That's a behind the music. If you want the true story, read a book, watch the behind the music. That'll give you the real story or
would
whatever.
That movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, been any good if Rami Malek was not?
It would not have been as good. He was
and here's the thing: I don't know who would have played him as good. I don't think anybody in Hollywood could have and looked like him.
Yeah.
So it was kudos on his part because he pulled it off.
And they really effectively. The live music scenes were phenomenal. Like, that to me, that was what made the whole movie. You know what I mean? Like it. The part where, you know, he split up with the band, I thought that all kind of dragged on. And from what I read, most of that was totally fictional as well.
Right.
But, you know, still
the best part of it was when it felt like you were in a rock concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta move on to the next one because it's getting close to our bedtimes. We all gotta work tomorrow. Kareem Hunt signed by the Cleveland Browns. Matt, what is the ramifications for the Browns, and how is this going to affect Nick Chubb's status next year for fantasy football?
You know, in a league where this guy plays the most replaceable position, I'm just a little bit surprised because I mean, Chubb had looked really, really good towards the end of the year there, and I just don't know how much you gain from going and getting a guy like that, and then and the kind of noise and everything that you bring back with it. I don't know. I guess I don't understand it. I don't think I'd have done it. You know, they've got a nice thing going there. It was a good turnaround season for them, and to go chase this sort of thing, I just don't think they needed to do it. It's not like it makes them a contender.
Where now that the Derek, and I don't know where Cream or Chubb would have been on your draft board, but now that this has happened, where does he go?
Well, because we are playing Busch League versus Busch Light, this is definitely Busch League.
Yeah.
Busch League.
I have Chubb in a keeper league, and that probably makes me the most man. If I'm being honest.
Excuse me?
He was going to be probably a top 5 running back off the board, and now, I mean, you got to think he drops. Who's going to get the carries? Is Hunt really better than Chubb? I don't even know if that. I don't even know if you can say that. But they're going to split carries,
Right.
And so that's gonna torpedo value.
Yeah, I think it all came down to John Dorsey, which I didn't think this was true, but John Dorsey apparently drafted Kareem Hunt, or he must have. So that's what it came down to. But yeah, this definitely hurts Chubb's stock. It turns it into, a scenario where give me who has dual running backs. I can't even think right now. A team that has 2 stars, it just isn't going to work.
Like Cadillac Williams and Rodney Brown.
Yeah, there you go. Or even take the Patriots, just running back by committee. You have Sony Michel.
The Browns also have Duke Johnson.
Yeah, so there you go. Like, who do you draft? Do you take Kareem Hunt and hope that Chubb and Johnson get hurt? Kind of like we did with James White, like Burkhead and Sony Michel got hurt, so he was the workhorse for most of the year. It's going to be an interesting fantasy draft for whoever decides to go down that road. Moving on, there is a new football league that started, the AAF. I have no idea what it stands for because I have only watched a little bit of it.
American Alliance of Football, I think, or Allegiance. I don't know.
Derek, do you think that the AAF is
Busch Light
or
Busch League?
Admittedly, I haven't watched a single minute of it. I'm more interested in college basketball or other things that are going on. That being said, after week 1 and just reading on Twitter, it sounded like a ton of positive momentum. People were liking it. They had some unique features to the league that people were interested in. The instant replay system, being able to listen to them decide what to do, seemed interesting. Then I heard this week they got a $250 million life support balloon to parachute in and save the league because they weren't making payroll.
Right.
So
Cool story, asshole. Thanks.
I gotta go Busch League.
Matt, what are your thoughts? Have you seen any of it? Have you
just highlights? I haven't sat down and watched the game, but I like the idea. I like the theory behind it, especially because with the NFL today, it seems like it's a little bit ripe for the picking.
Right.
For someone to come in here and
All right.
to start a league that isn't bound by the historical bullshit that the NFL is, and if you can approach some of these rule changes in a way that is actually rational, that makes some sense, like this bullshit that we've had with the catch rule and all these other things in the NFL, and contacting the quarterback now. If you can come at it with a brand new league and do things, without having that history of having fucked up, screwed everything up to begin with, I think that puts them in a real advantageous position. The problem is they need recognizable names on the field. That's their problem, and I feel they're gonna struggle until they can get some recognition or some names, some headline names that people are interested in watching.
That was what I was.
They're going to have to take the guys that the NFL won't.
And they have
Kaepernick, $20 million,
right?
But they're going to have to get if Kareem Hunt, does something else, they're going to have to get those guys.
Yeah.
And this is where the XFL in a year from now,
could
capitalize because they will.
And they are on the right track. I mean, you hire Bob Stoops. That's a big time name. That is going to make some noise. And to Matt's point, I was going to say there have been some notable names, at least that I know of. One being Trent Richardson has scored a bunch of touchdowns. Matt Asiata has actually had a couple of touchdowns, and Charles Johnson had a hell of a game. Yes, fans. Charles Johnson, the Minnesota Vikings receiver, had a hell of a game last week. I think he had like 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. So they do have some talent. They just don't have enough of it to make any noise. Yeah. And I think it's Busch Light. I think it's good, especially the hit that quarterback took that knocked him in the next week. That's how football should be. And there was no flags. It was a perfectly legal hit.
How about the Philip Nelson no-look pass? Did you see that one?
Yes.
Wait a second. Is Philip Nelson in this league?
Yeah, he's a starting quarterback.
Is he
so
really?
That tells you a little bit about the talent.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's done kicking people in the face and throwing behind the back no-look passes, a la Randy Moss. What else do I got for you guys? Oh, so I think we kind of brought it up in the beginning, and I just kind of want your guys' quick take on it. Kirk Cousins is in Miami. He thinks the weather is awesome in Miami. Is it Busch Light or
Busch League
that he commented on the weather and that fans got so up in arms about his comments?
Well, the fans are being Busch League.
Yeah.
Has any fan that's actually complaining been to South Beach?
Hey, Derek, have you?
Yes, I have.
Oh, good for you.
And what did you think of South Beach? What did you think of South Beach?
If you're on South Beach and walking around and looking at beautiful women in their thong bikinis in the middle of winter, and it's 85 degrees, a little bit better than 12 inches of snow like we got today.
All right.
I would concur. I'd like to look at some Latino ladies. That'd be sweet. I'm guessing, Matt, you're just Busch League on the fans, yeah. Busch Light on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
Anybody who is going to sit here and tell me that they're offended by the fact that somebody likes the weather in Miami more than they like it in Minneapolis or Minnesota or wherever, I'd be done with that conversation.
Let's dance, dickweed.
That's what I gotta say to everybody. Let's dance, dickweed. Come at me, brah. Come at me. Manny Machado. Signed
Great cash, homie.
He signed with the Padres yesterday for 10 years, $300 million. Basically, making San Diego pretty freaking good because they have supposedly the best farm system in the league right now. So it's not the fact that he signed with them. My question is does this make the Twins organization
Busch Light
or
Busch League? Because
the Padres are 28th in whatchamacallit, basically spending, and they just went out and signed a superstar. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Anybody see the amount of money that the Twins are going to spend this year compared to last year? The difference in the amount?
Negative.
$23 million less this year. Any idea who possibly made $23 million this year?
Help me make it through the night.
I
believe Joe Mauer made $23 million last year, and his contract was hindering us from being able to spend and field a competitive team. Right.
I hate the poll ads so much. I wish that they would just sell something. Sorry, Matt, I interrupted. I just freaking hate them. They just suck.
Yeah, I mean it's old.
In my opinion, that sucked.
It's old news by now. I mean it's pretty clear that Manny Machado for 10 years, $300 million is probably overpaying that player. And even if we get him, You know, it's not like we're not going to be a contender in the American League with him. You can't just go out and buy every most expensive person, but you know,
tell that to the Red Sox, homie.
Yeah.
Come on, Derek, give it to me. Straight cash, homie. Damn you.
Straight cash, homie.
So am I all that upset that Manny Machado is not Twin? No, not really. I guess I had so low expectations that I never even considered it. But
right,
that's the problem.
Yeah, but
shouldn't have that low.
The problem, but to Derek's point, is like the last thing that I want to hear that I'm starting to hear about now is these high level prospects, the next prospects that are going to come up and that are going to lift the Twins up. And I'm so, they can't play that card anymore. No one's going to freaking show up at Target Field this summer.
No. It's going to be like the game Derek and I went to when there was probably 500 fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was so sad.
We were there was to get a hat.
Yeah.
At times you think about the money and investment that the state of Minnesota has put into the Twins, and then you think about how they were being threatened with contraction years ago, and at times you almost wish that it had happened.
Sometimes, yeah. They gave us that hope, and they gave us hope in 2010 when they signed. I still have that division T-shirt, by the way, and I looked at it. That team was actually really cool. It was Morneau and Orlando Hudson and J.J. Hardy and Mauer, obviously, and I can't remember our third baseman that year. But it was just a really well put together team, and they won the division, and they were fun to watch. And then they just blew it up. It's like, we got our stadium. It's over. We don't need to make this team relevant anymore. I'm done talking about it.
You guys
just
want to go to
thinking.
the Saints games this summer?
Yeah, I do actually. I've really wanted to go for like the last 3 summers. I'm down. Which, by the way, we need to make a trip to Junkyard to pick up a souvenir for somebody.
Yeah. Would Jen want to go with us?
Of course.
Make a little road trip.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt, you down? Sure. Should we do that? Sure. Should we go to Moorhead, Minnesota?
I'm down.
Yeah. It would be fun.
Have some Junkyard, have some Drecker.
Yeah. Better tell Dave, because I don't want him to feel left out, and he might find some college chick who might be the love of his life, because it's right next to Concordia and MSUM.
There also is North Dakota State there.
Oh, the Bison? Who cares about the Bison? Nobody, unless you went there.
I mean, they're like 8-time national champions, right?
That's true. They are. I'll give credit where credit's due. Woo! Carson Wentz helped put him on the map even more. I'll give him that.
Danny Valencia, by the way, that was your third baseman.
Yes, thank you. I wish I could. Who is? Do you remember the outfield? I know Tommy was the DH, right? Yeah, Tommy was the DH.
Played center.
Span. Kubel was in, yeah, and was
hacking it out and left.
Was Kadire on that team or no?
Kadire played first.
Where was Morneau?
Morneau was. Looks like he missed a lot of time with injuries.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Was that the year was that a concussion year? I bet you it was.
Might have been. Was that the year he was going to win the MVP again?
And then he went into Toronto and got hit. I want to take you guys back to your childhoods. Matt, I know you had TV back then, so you have to remember this. I don't know if you guys heard, but one of the greatest wrestling factions in the history of professional wrestling is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame over WrestleMania weekend. D-Generation X.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Is getting inducted. They're the first inductees this year. Matt, is this
Busch Light
or
Busch League?
And to add to that, is D-Generation X the greatest faction? Now, when I say faction, I'm talking NWO, Four Horsemen. Is D-Generation X the greatest faction ever put together? Okay, Derek looks like he is ready to go, so I'm going to go to him.
I'd say yeah.
Okay?
My challenge would my simple challenge would be name somebody and give me a reasonable argument that they're better.
Well, here's why I think the Four Horsemen are the best, and that's just Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair, you go and you YouTube Four Horsemen Championship Wrestling interviews with Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and either Ole or Barry Windham. And at one time, the Four Horsemen had every major title in WCW. Flair was the heavyweight champion. Arn and Tully were tag champs. Or no, Tully was the TV champ, and Arn was and Wyndham or Arn and Ole were for tag team champions, and they had every belt at one time. It was crazy, and I think DX was the most entertaining. That's what I'll say, Derek. DX was the most entertaining.
Yeah, for me during my wrestling thing, I mean, D-Generation X was by far the biggest thing. I mean, biggest faction of my time. NWO was probably second, but WCW had fallen so far behind the WWF at that time that it's probably hard to give it to the NWO in that case. So, yeah, I mean, to me, Heartbreak Kid, X-Pac.
Oh, yeah. The Road Dog,
Jesse James,
Mr.
China, Triple H
yeah,
before he went heel.
Yeah, I mean they were awesome. They were fun. They were fun. I'll give them that.
My whole argument, John, is outside of Ric Flair, I didn't know anybody else that you just said.
Yeah. See, I'm old school like that.
You know, and so for me, it was Shawn Michaels and Triple H and China, and
yeah,
it was.
I will say this: at one point, I think the NWO was greater. They were greater when it was 3 to 4 guys, right? When it was Hogan, Nash, Hall, the Giant, and 6-Pac, not X-Pac. And then 6-Pac went to WWE again, and then they just got even bigger. So I will say the NWO at first I think was better, but then over time,
those are bigger names in the wrestling game than Badass Billy Gunn. I mean,
yes,
those names aren't that big, you know.
Right. Hall and Nash were freaking awesome back in the day, but I will say eventually DX, especially that time DX took that tank and tried to infiltrate the WCW show. That was so awesome. That was so funny. And that's what I miss about wrestling is back then wrestling was funny, right? DX, Austin, Google The Rock in his heyday.
Oh man,
nobody was funnier than The Rock.
No.
I just watched one with Chris Jericho. That was freaking hilarious too. He was amazing on the mic.
I remember when they tried to turn The Rock heel and it didn't work because everybody still loved him.
Yes, because every time he tried being a douche, they just start chanting the Rock's name, Rocky, Rocky, and he would just stand there and smell the crowd. Oh, it was so
with the freaking eyebrow and oh man, he was pretty damn good.
We lived in the golden age of wrestling. That was so great. All right. We're going to wrap this up here. I got one more final thing to ask you guys about, and then we'll go into the closing. And I really wish Dave was here, but I'm kind of glad he's not because I don't need this rah, gopher, shishumba. I would fondle PJ's dangles if he pulled his pants down, and I would coddle his wiener. But I don't know if you guys know this, but Jerry Kill was on the Big Ten, I think it was the Big Ten podcast.
Big Ten radio show.
Thank you. And I'm gonna play this for you. I hope it'll work. If it doesn't work, just tell me and I'll break it down for you. Give me 2 minutes here. Not even. So Jerry Kill had some very interesting comments regarding PJ Fleck and the University of Minnesota. And to give you some context, I didn't hear the whole interview, but this is what I was listening to today on the radio is that right before the interview was over and PJ took a shot, or excuse me, Jerry Kill took a shot at PJ that started the conversation back up.
They were saying goodbye.
Yeah,
it
they
was
were.
done. Jerry
So
went out of his way.
yeah. So Matt, before I play the clip, my question. So listen to the clip, and then tell me if it's
Busch Light.
or
Busch League.
So here we go. See if I can get to play here.
To be honest with you guys, I mean,
Hold on here. Okay. Come on.
Why doesn't he like you?
you know, it's the thing that, you know, when he got the job, you know, he was talking, you know, first of all, I had him for the first, he coached with me, but after that, you know, he changed a lot. I'll just be honest with you guys. I mean, people that have known him before, and when he got with Shano, and then it just, his personality changed a lot. And I knew his first wife, and he just changed a bunch. And then once he became a head coach, I mean, I helped him get the job at Western Michigan. And I just think,
good for you.
Carried away. And when he went into Minnesota and treated the people the way he treated my guys, and telling them he had to go in and completely change the culture, and there's a bad culture and bad people. You know, he made it sound like we didn't know what we were doing. And I took it personal. You just don't treat people that have been with you and helped your career, and you don't even talk to them, you know, once you get the job.
When he got the job and all that stuff happened, did you ever call him, or did you ever air it out with him?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't good.
When's the last time you talked to him?
That's the last time.
So a few years then.
Yeah, and it will be the last time. Do I still root for the Gophers? I do. Do I enjoy him running up and down the sideline? No. Do I think that he's about the players? No. He's about himself. And you can't tell me you've watched him. You think you listen to his interview, you think he's thinks about the players. I just lost a lot of respect. You know, it's kind of like when Jimbo Fisher left Florida State and went to A&M, and Trickett, who'd been with him for years and years and years, he never even gave him a call. And he just takes off and goes to A&M, doesn't call. I mean, those kind of things disappoint me in people. So I guess maybe disappointment is the better way to put PJ, and disappointed on how he handled some things.
Matt, before you answer, some people in the Twin Cities media liked it. Some thought it was childish, and some thought some took the high road. Let's just put it that way. So our Coach Jerry Kill's comments,
Busch Light
or
Busch League.
You all know that I'm no PJ Fleck apologizer, but
I think you have a nickname. I think it's AFF. You are
to prove that I'm an equal opportunity abuser here. No, I think Jerry Kill has just as much ego as PJ Fleck does. That's what I think the problem is here. Is that Jerry Kill's ego is a little bit hurt, and he's probably a little upset about the way things worked out in Minnesota. And you know, when a guy comes into a new program and wants to leave his mark on the program, yes, he's going to blow shit up. That's the way that it works. I mean, did Jerry Kill hire any Brewster's people? I mean, I doubt it. And so maybe he felt like like Fleck owed him something because they have history. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's this is the big leagues, man, and if you're upset about it, the only reason you go on a radio show and bitch about it is because your ego is hurt and is as big as PJ Flex is.
All right, Mr. Golden Gopher, what do you think?
How long has it been?
What are we in? PJ's third year minus 2 years with Clay, so 5.
Yeah, 4-ish years. Get over it. Good Lord.
All right.
Hold on. I gotta play the sounder. Jerry Kill.
And what you gonna do, muscle man?
He's still butthurt from 4 years ago. And Jerry didn't have seizures, he'd probably still be here, honestly.
Yeah.
The
Jerry Soda, baby. Jerry Soda.
I liked Jerry,
I did
but
too.
you couldn't do it anymore, and your replacement couldn't hack it. He wasn't cut out to run a major college football program. It just is what it is. The class that Tracy Claeys was bringing in was the worst class in Minnesota in like 15 years. It was worse than Mason classes as far as recruiting goes. So
That's saying a lot.
it wasn't going to be successful with Tracy Claeys. And so if he's mad because we fired Tracy Claeys and moved on and somebody else took that position, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like Jerry's 4th job since the U. Talk about something else. Do something else. Stop obsessing over the University of Minnesota.
I play a little bit.
Yeah. I just enjoyed it because it's the Gophers just doing, it's so petty. I guess how I could define it as I just love little prissy fights like this, right? Like jealousy, high school locker room.
And here's the thing. If this exact same scenario plays out to PJ Fleck, I have no doubt that PJ Fleck would have the same feelings about whatever guy came in and blew up his program. But I do think PJ Fleck would be smart enough not to go on the radio and start crying about it.
Correct.
And PJ did take the high road. Heather, his wife, posted something on Twitter about basically the comments, and he just retweeted it. He didn't. And I'm interested to see when Big Ten Day happens, because he's going to get asked the question. I just want to see what road he takes. I think he'll take the high road. I would be shocked if he didn't. I would be absolutely shocked if he didn't.
He'll go with Jerry was a great mentor. I have great respect for Jerry, blah, blah, blah.
Did you listen to the bumper to bumper today? Is that where you got that from? That's what Guardsy said exactly to a T what you just said. Yeah, exactly.
No, I got off work early today because it snowed a foot and no patients came in.
Oh, good for you.
I told you dentists don't do anything. You're a doctor. You're a doctor to start with, and you're a dentist. You don't work. You go. You have your hygienist check everything, and then you come in. You pick around for 2 minutes, and you go, nah, looks good. Come back.
I would have rather worked today and made money, but
you know what I did? I made. You don't want to know what I did. It wasn't very cool.
They brew 10,000 bottles of beer a day. I drink 45 off the assembly line, and I'm the asshole.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was pretty much what I did. Well, like I said, I think this is one of our best yet. We had a lot to cover because we've been gone for forever. We're going to try not to be gone this long. We're going to try to do this again next week. Hopefully Dave Pikus can join us, and I'm sure he'll want to comment on the PJ Jerry stuff because Mr. Fondle PJ's balls, he can't get enough of it. Closing remarks, closing thoughts. Derek, anything that you want to touch base on that I missed out on, or any beer recommendations or anything you got for us?
Well, it was Valentine's Day this past week. I got a few Valentines, actually, from a few just NFL, involved, people and whatnot. I wanted to see if you guys could guess who I got the Valentines from.
Let's go.
All right.
One Valentine I got said, "I can see the future, and you're in it."
I can see the future, and you're in it. Pass.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Tony Romo sent me that Valentine.
Nice.
I got another Valentine that said, "I'm ready to commit to you."
Oh, that's Patrick Mahomes.
He sure did. Another little Valentine.
All right.
Our love won't retire, even at halftime.
Davis, not Vontae. Vontae Davis.
Yep, Vontae Davis.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
One more. Don't worry, I'm not trying to score tonight.
What was that last part?
Don't worry, I'm not trying to score tonight.
That would be your guy, Jared Goff.
Hansel, so hot right now.
Yep.
Hansel.
Jared Goff from the St. Louis there's an old Los Angeles Rams. Thank you very much.
The old St. Louis Rams.
Yep.
I like that. That was fun. Let's do it again, Matt.
I heard some. I wanted to give a tip of the cat. I heard the old 3rd Street brought home some hardware recently.
Yes, we did actually. We got 2 silvers at the Craft Beer Awards in Ohio. We got silver for our Minnesota Gold Lager, and we got silver for our Free Speech Red Ale. So, yeah, it was pleasantly surprising.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
congratulations.
Thank you.
Minnesota Gold I've had, but I'm gonna add the Ember Red to my list.
Yes, it's tasty. I think I have some here. If I don't, I can get some. Yeah, it was because I think it was over like 200 breweries entered, and we got 2 silvers. So, thank you, appreciate that.
You bet.
We work hard making beer.
Well, that's good.
And drink
nice
44.
Pay off, huh?
Yeah, drink 44 off the line. Woo! Well, guys, I think it's time for us to fly, and we're gonna do this again next week. I got nothing to tease with for next week, but I'm sure there's gonna be tons of fun stuff that happens from now to then. So, everybody be safe, travel safely, especially with this freaking snow that's coming again over the weekend. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.